All right, this part of writing a lesson plan is going to talk about the section with the Alabama State Courses Study standards and objectives and all the other ideas and assessments that go along with it. So as you learned in class, the Alabama State Courses Study is broken up into 5 anchor standards. Every time that you write a lesson plan, you are going to have to identify which of these standards meet the grade level under each of these anchor standard sections. So as we've been talking about, you are doing a first grade lesson, and it's a dribbling soccer lesson is what we're doing. Okay, so now the first thing you'll do is pull up the Alabama State Courses Study, which I had you bookmark. Here you will see I've taken a screenshot of Anchor Standard 1, which is, motor skill and movement patterns, Anchor Standard 1. And we are working with dribbling with the feet, so we're going to go down, come down, and find the standard that identifies dribbling the ball or controlling it with the feet. And we are teaching first grade. So this is what we're doing. The standard for first grade, dribbling the ball with the feet, is 1.1-1.11, which is walk while tapping the ball using alternating feet. That is what we should expect these first graders to be able to accomplish in the standards they should meet. So what you will do is you will copy and paste this area and place it right here. So now we're going to move on to Anchor Standard 2, which is the movement and performance. All right, so I have pulled up a screenshot of this standard, and according to what we wrote in our central focus, we're going to want them to tap the ball or the noodle slices with control and with the correct amount of force. So what we're going to do is we're going to look under the movement concepts. We're going to find which one best fits what we're teaching. Oh, looky here, speed, direction, and force. That's the movement concept. So we're going to go over here to first grade. It's 1-2.3, demonstrate the difference between strong and light force. That's exactly what we're doing. We're going to copy and paste that, including the number, and we're going to put it right here. Moving on to Anchor Standard 3, which is physical activity and fitness. On this one, I've pulled this up, Anchor Standard 3. And you are going to look under first grade and try to figure out what best fits what you are teaching. So at this point, I think we just want engagement in physical education or activity. So we want them to actively engage in a PE class. So we're going to copy and paste 1-3.2 and put it right here. Moving on to Anchor Standard 4, which is personal and social behavior, which is the affective domain. We are going to look and see what we would like them to meet. I think right now we just want to have them work with others. So it would be first grade -4.3, this standard, copy and paste it, and put it in there, right here. Now, for instance, this may not be what you are looking to accomplish today. It may be you want these kids to appropriately respond to the feedback given from the teacher. Okay? That may be your standard for personal and social behavior, which is perfectly fine. Okay? If this is more or less what you are teaching and hoping to accomplish, then this would be your standard that you're meeting for this effective area, personal and social behavior. So there's not one answer. It's whatever matches what you're teaching and whatever you hope that your objective is going to be that meets your central focus. So I don't want you to just think, oh, I have to pick this one every single time. No. It changes depending on what you're teaching. Okay, and finally, moving on to Anchor Standard 5, which is values, physical activity, and health. According to your central focus, you will find the standard in your grade that best meets what you're trying to teach. And For this one, we're going to choose 1.5.1, where we're going to have our students identify physical activity as a component of good health, and you're going to put it here. Once again, this is what meets your criteria. This is not the answer to all of the questions. So here is a completed copy of what we just discussed with all of the anchor standards met and everything cut and pasted and put in this section for the standards for first grade that match your lesson. All right, and now we're going to move on to writing objectives. Okay, the objective of your lesson is basically what you want the students to know that day. And you see these acronyms, WASBOT, the student will be able to. That's what that stands for. It's just an acronym for those words to keep it from you having to write that over and over and over. Okay, so if you look at this little thing right here, it's a fill in the blank. And this is how easy it is to write an objective. Okay, you don't want to overthink it. Just fill in the blanks. Okay, the verb is the first word, and that's the action word. All right, now if you look at this, the student will be able to walk, which is the verb here, walk. Now, walk what? Walk how? What? Walk while tapping noodle slices, playground ball, deflated ball, or soccer ball. He listed a bunch of things. So, walk this, and then how is he going to walk? Using alternating feet. Okay, so that is his complete sentence for his objective for Anchor Standard 1. And if you notice, for Anchor Standard 2, he did the same thing. The student will be able to, what's the verb? Demonstrate. Demonstrate what? Strong and light force. And how are we gonna see that? When he's dribbling the ball or the noodle slices. So all of these blanks are filled in. Now for the objective for Anchor Standard 3, the student will be able to, what's the verb? The verb is engage. Actively is a adverb, all right? So he's going to engage in what? PE, physical activity, and how. He left that blank, so I would fill that in with something else. So now everybody's perfect, giving you some examples. How is he going to do that? By anything in the world you can come up with. So that is number 3. Now the objective for Anchor Standard 4, according to this example, I do have a few corrections. Okay, the student will be able to, I'm not going to say work on the concept of, I'm just going to go straight to the verb. He's going to be able to dribble. What is he dribbling? That's not there. It didn't list it. Okay, so dribble noodle slices, all right, or a ball or whatever. And then how, he did answer the how very well while participating in different situations with moderate supervision, okay? So this is working on the affective domain of personal and social behavior and have the students work together without direct supervision. So this is definitely the how. The how is over here. So that is personal and social behavior objective with some corrections. And finally, we're going to write the objective for Anchor Standard 5, value physical activity and health. The verb is identify, and you'll remember that directly from Bloom's taxonomy that we talked about. He's going to be able to identify what physical activity, and how is he going to be able to do it? Why is it important for his health? Okay, how or why? So you would be asking questions, and this may even be This may be cognitive, because you may ask open-ended questions, like we talked about. Okay, so that's how are you going to know if they can meet those objectives? By open-ended questions. Ask while teaching. Okay, now we're going to move on to the big ideas. And what the big ideas are the activities used in each learning task to basically play out or practice what you said you were going to do in the objective, which is what you said the standard was. So if we're tapping the ball using alternating feet, the big idea we're going to be doing for anchor standard 1 is the inside of the foot. When dribbling, we're going to make sure that they're using the inside of the foot with a tapping motion, and we're going to make sure the eyes see the foot contact the object. This is exactly what we're looking for when they are playing the game, okay? And if they're not doing it, you're going to stop them and ask open-ended questions, okay? Now, the big idea for movement and performance, all right, this was light force and strong force, so we're going to make sure that they're lightly tapping the object while they're playing the game, okay? And then what if they kick it too hard? You're going to address that with what? Open-ended questions, okay? This is specifically what you're looking for in this anchor standard while you're teaching, okay? So the big idea for physical activity and health, are they engaged? This is pretty simple. Are they participating? And cognitive, are they answering the questions appropriately? If they do not know the cognitive content, the answers to the questions, then obviously they can't perform it. So you're going to have to back up and stop and teach them again. Okay? The big idea for personal and social behavior, we're worried about them being in situations where the teacher's not on top of them. Okay? Do we have consistent behavior? Do we work well while the teacher's instructing? You might even add working in a group without the teacher's direct supervision, okay? With moderate supervision. So these are the things you're going to be looking for. You can't just throw all these things down on this piece of paper and not do it. The big ideas are doing. This is doing it. You are actually doing it and applying this. This is the application of the objectives. Apply, apply, apply. Okay? And then the last big idea for Anchor Standard 5 is value physical activity. This is the why. Okay? We tell them how to do it. We're easy showing them the how, but we want to ask them why. Why are they doing what they're doing? Why is the ball moving too fast? What should we do? We need to apply light force. Okay? Why is the ball not going far enough? Well, we have to kick it with more force. Why does the ball keep going to the left? Because we're using too much force with our right foot. We need to ask them the whys of this. This is so important. And again, how do we find out if they know? Open-ended questions. Now, finally, we're going to talk about this assessment section. And there are a few more sections on the lesson plan that deal with assessment. So this is just the basic assessment of each of the standards. Okay, these are just basic questions that you need to be asking yourself while you're concentrating on this. And it's basically a question that directly goes back to the standard. Okay, the standard is walk while tapping the ball with alternating feet. Was the student able to walk while tapping the ball with the inside of the foot? This is basically asking questions to find out if the student is doing that. We will get into much more detailed questions and assessment tools and checklists and rubrics for this. Demonstrate the difference between strong and light force. You can ask this question and put it here in assessment, but you could also break it down even farther, which is what we will make you do. Was the student dribbling with the inside of the foot with correct light force, okay? I mean, you can break it down into many questions as you want to, but these are basically, you are looking for these specific questions and standards to be sure that when you're teaching, you're meeting all this and you're not just standing around and observing the behavior and movement of all the kids. You are looking for the specific assessment of each of the standards and objectives.